Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back also to the beginning of our Homeworld Classic Throwback tournament. It's finally begun. I can go over here and, check out my opponent and such. It's cool. Yeah, so this is the first game, I believe, that is being played in our tournament. I believe. I know this definitely for certain. The match here is going to be between myself, that's Bozocow if you didn't know, and Gazerlake over here. We're both playing as the tight end. He's in red, I'm in gray, which is convenient because we'll be able to tell from like the trails and stuff who is who. I find it kind of remarkable that the original Homeworld shipped with a replay function, but like Homeworld Gazerlake and Homeworld Remastered didn't. But I will have to say it's quite limited. So I can't go into the build menu or the research menu. I also can't see the health of enemy units here. So we're going to have to extrapolate quite a bit as we watch the replay, but that's okay. It's better than nothing, I think. This is actually really exciting that we're able to do this, so. You see, I'm going to be very aggressive with my scouts here, moving them across the map, but you should notice Gazerlake making more scouts already. I take a sip of my chocolate milk here. Tasty. Anyway, I've got it in a mug and everything. It's really interesting playing Homeworld Classic because no one really knows how to play this game. So like, do I make more collectors or do I make more scouts, or like what do I do in the beginning? No one's really sure. So it's fun to like try build orders against each other. But definitely at the very beginning you want to be making some collectors. I think that's obvious. So you can see both of us having two there. What I really want to do, if it's possible, is to isolate his scouts and see if I can attack them one-on-one. And he's going to make a bit of a mistake here. Okay, so Karen is telling us that I finished capital ship drive research. That's always what I start with. He's going to make a bit of a mistake here, though, as he leaves these guys alone there, so I can switch this group into claw, set them on aggressive. They should wreck this guy without too much difficulty, and then I can take a pretty good fight with these scouts if he wants to continue fighting me here. So if you check the health on my guys, I don't think they've even taken a single shot yet, and all of these guys are damaged and one of them is dead, so this is definitely my fight. So he's going to send in some reinforcements here, in the form of another group of 5.
All units retreat. Repeat, all units retreat.
There you go, did you hear that? So we're just going to head out of here. That's pretty cool, because I didn't, like, there's no retreat option, I just told them to leave. But I guess they knew, yeah, that's what that means. This game is so cool. I don't know if, I don't know if you think so too, but like, really, the original Homeworld to me is a masterpiece. It's probably the best game ever made, in my opinion. Anyhow, so that's a pretty good early fight for me. Not a big deal, obviously, but I'm enjoying it. I've got 3 collectors out already. Everything's looking on Gazerlake's side just about the same, yeah. Although you can see he's already sending one of them off to
complete.
He's already sending one of them off to that corner over there. I'm not sure why there's blue there, because we definitely can't see anything over there, but Take a sip of my chocolate milk here. So I finished Corvette drive research. That's typically what I go into now. And I believe Gazerlake has done the same, although we'll have to see once he begins producing some units. And you can see he's moving his mothership out toward the center. That's pretty standard as well. In this case, I didn't move mine out until I finished the resource patch over there, and I assume he did the same. But yeah. One controller is out for me already, moving out toward the middle, along with all the collectors. Has he got a controller too? He actually doesn't, which I think is a little bit of a mistake. Obviously, you're gonna have a hard time with resourcing if you don't have a controller, aren't you? Because the mothership is quite a slow one. Speaking of which, I haven't started moving mine out just yet, which I think is a little bit of a choke, but hopefully not a particularly important one. Yeah, there's the controller now for Gazerlake coming out. Now, one thing that's interesting to note is that he did not go for nearly as many collectors as I did in this map, so I feel like he's got 1, 2, 3, yeah, that's all it. That's all it? I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, I've already got 4 out, and I think I have a 5th, like, being produced at this moment, as well as 2 controllers. I was talking a lot to Fear about this, about, like, how many collectors you want to make, and he always goes for, like, 8 right off the beginning, and then 2 controllers, so that's kind of what I'm doing, but, Gazerlake here instead going to be putting his money into the military units there. again, the game is pretty, like, pretty unknown to most of us. I think there was, like, quite a dedicated multiplayer, like, player base way back in the 90s, and they probably know better, like, what they should be doing, but, I mean, I have no idea, like, what the meta is, you know, so we're just kind of doing stuff and seeing if it works, which is kind of exciting, I think. But yeah, this middle area is going to be very lucrative for me. I'm going to have a lot of money pretty soon. Gazerlake looks like he just wants to take this pocket over here next to him, and that's fair. It's pretty easy, right? One idea that I had here was to send my mothership off to this side here, because we had played a game before this where we accidentally had the crates turned on, and we ended up with both of our motherships just right next to each other in the center, and I really didn't like it. It was kind of like, it was an all-in, you know, and I didn't feel comfortable with that. I'd like to take to fight with his scouts right here, but I really don't want to take a fight with all of them, so now I'm going to choose to go flying away. Although not before I reckon other guys. That fight went very well for me, didn't it? I think I've lost one, but I must have killed two of his. On the retreat, I'm going to lose another one, though, so there goes one more. But I should get out with all 5 of these guys. I don't think he can catch me now. And this guy's very damaged as well. Only problem is that it gives him control over the middle, but I do have some light corvettes coming in. Let's see what the tech choice is for him now. He does have light corvettes himself, as you can see, and he's got quite a few of them too.
Research complete.
Looks like 4 right there.
Salvage corvette available for
just 4, so I think I've got perhaps more than he does.
Resourcer under attack. Collector.
One thing that's always annoying here is that the collectors will turn around the second they start getting hit, so you need to micromanage them and get them back harvesting. I think I realized that in a second here, but yeah, it takes me a little bit to get these guys doing the correct thing. Another thing that's really annoying that I didn't realize until right here in this moment is that actually docking with a resource controller can give you fuel back, but it doesn't heal your guys. Which I think is really annoying. I don't know. It's also not like that in Homeworld Remastered, so I wasn't expecting it. But yeah, so like I was saying earlier, Gazerlake only with those 3 collectors, and that's really all he thinks he needs. I think that's very interesting. It's definitely not how I've been thinking about the game, but he could be right. And you'll notice I've just made another research ship here, so now I've got 2. How many is he on? He's already been on 2. Not sure for how long, though. And that's going to be very important, obviously, because once you tech up to like defense field frigates, you basically can win if your opponent doesn't have them yet. So it's very important to get those about as fast as you can. I guess he was full. It's like when you take a huge bite out of a burger and then you're like, ooh. I'm actually not as hungry as I thought. Let's say the armies are stacking up now. We got some repair corvettes coming out now for Gazerlake. As well as quite a lot of light corvettes. That is many of them. I've got a support frigate out here, and I feel like that's going to be superior as far as healing goes. He still has quite a lot of scouts, though. I can't tell how many this is, but... Well, actually, I guess that's only 6, and I've got... No, yeah, I see, like, he's got more over here. So he does have quite a lot of scouts, quite a lot of corvettes. I feel like I won't be able to take a fight with him if I did it now. I'm waiting for some kind of a tech, then. Probably have assault ships on the way here.
Cell's full. We're coming back.
I feel like his economy has definitely been quite weak, I feel, and yet he does still field quite a large army, doesn't he? Oh, and look at that, an assault frigate is already out for him.
Support command acknowledged.
Yeah, I think it's because I went for a corvette chassis to get the salvage corvettes out, so that's gonna probably come back to bite me, isn't it? This is also one thing I noticed later on. I told this guy to move toward the center, but this guy I didn't, so he's gonna go to the wrong place, which was quite an issue later on, as I'm sure you'll see in a moment. Yeah, so if we take the fight right now, Gazerlake is definitely ahead here. I just need to wait, really, because I definitely have the stronger economy, so if I can just not fight my opponent for a while, I should be in the clear here. You can see those light corvettes moving out already. There's also a probe getting made from Gazerlake. I think he just wants to see what I've got.
Cells full. Acknowledged.
He's gonna go through, he sees me out there in the middle. He sees quite a lot of ships coming in, so he knows that I'm still on corvettes here, light corvettes
Capital
that
ship
is.
chassis research complete. Assault frigate available for
So yeah,
construction.
just now finishing assault frigate tech, so I'm quite behind him in that regard. I think probably it's because he made his research ship first, and then he also didn't get corvette chassis. That's got to be the reason.
Support is on the way.
You can see I was taking a very aggressive position, like very far up in the map, and this is my scouts killing off his probe, by the way. That's probably going to come back to haunt me. I don't want to be that far forward, probably.
Signing off, thank you.
But yeah, it looks like I want to take this fight, but there's no way I can win it, is there? This is not really advisable. Especially because assault frigates are quite good against corvettes, and I believe I've got these guys on aggressive.
Alert. Ambush. Support command received.
Fortunately, he doesn't seem to be attacking him. He's going for the support frigate first.
Everything seal aboard. Same comms away.
I'm not sure what my guys are doing here. I definitely told them to attack the light corvettes, but you can see they're just kind of waltzing forward.
Catch anyone better.
So that was a little bit annoying when I realized this had happened. Finally, they do start attacking, though, so this is not really going my way, as you can see. I shouldn't have been taking this fight at all, but now especially that my guys just kind of walked in there and got themselves killed before the fight even started, this is going to be quite rough. Quite rough indeed. I also don't have support here because the guys strayed very far away from the support frigates. Oh, and this guy felt he needed to, like, attack one of the resource collectors for my opponent. That's quite bad. I'll turn on the tactical overlay here so you can see what's going on, kind of. But yeah, the two corvette walls are fighting, but definitely his will take the field here, even without support. Oh, excuse me, from the assault frigates, but he has got that as well. So I'm just gonna have to run away here now. I've already harvested most of this area, though, so I mean, I could even get away with this if I just left now. But I believe in-game I wanted to stay and fight because I figured there was some way I could, you know, get sneaky and manage to take the advantage here. I don't think that's true, though, looking at this now. This probably was just not somewhere I wanted to be.
Thank you. See you next time. Take it 100%. Support is on the way. Hang in there.
So yeah, at this point I do have frigates of all kinds coming out, but definitely quite far behind my opponent here. Of course, you can make as many types of units at a time as you want, but you can only make one of those types at a time, so... His assault frigate count is already quite high, and I believe he'll have been researching defense fields already. It's an interesting question here if you want to go for defense fields or ion cannons. I think in his case, ion cannons probably would be better.
Defense field research complete.
So you can hear that finishing for me now.
Field frigate.
But I believe he did go for
construction.
field frigates first, and he's going to have them coming out in just a second now. I'm sending my scouts in too, but they're just getting themselves killed. I felt pretty nice about this. I timed them quite nicely. I have a unit hyperspacing in here, as well as the other assault frigate is already in position. So that was good, and I do still have two support frigates here. But yeah, there you go. There's a defense field frigate, and that's what's going to make this undoable for me. Because right now, this is actually not such a bad situation. It's a little worse than I was expecting, actually. He has even numbers of frigates, but he's also got the corvettes on me, so he should win that. But with this defense field frigate here, he's just definitely going to wipe the floor with me, so... This is not where I want to be, but I don't really realize it yet. And yeah, definitely I think I could have been fine this game if I just backed away. But I think it's pretty obvious at this point I'm not in a good position at all. Well, especially because, look, his mothership is coming here to take now this, like, middle resource position. He's finally, like, in position, but there's nothing left there. And mine is already moving out, you know, toward this one. It's gonna take it, like, forever to get there still, but, you know, at least he's, like, on the way there. So if the fight then becomes over this resource patch, I should have the defender's advantage, too. So, yeah, I don't know. Definitely, I think this was still winnable, but not the way that I played it. And you can see that defense field doing its work it takes out like 93% of bullets, I think, that get fired.
Lost.
They get destroyed by the defense field, so it's quite difficult to deal with these things. Now that being said, they do nothing against ion cannons, right? That's kind of like the counter to them. So that's definitely what I'm going to be going for next, but you know,
Support command acknowledged. What you're saying received.
takes a while to get those. And then this I thought was quite clever of him too. So he's begun making salvage corvettes now. So that was his tech after defense fields. So he's coming in with these salvage corvettes, and there's really nothing that I have that can stop them. Actually, all of this would stop it, right? It's just that there's defense fields around them too. So if
Cannon research complete.
I try and target his salvage corvettes here, he's going to be able to block them with the defense field and keep them alive. And then he also has 2 support frigates that can heal them up as well. So I'm not going to be able to stop him from doing this. And actually, it was only at this point that I realized that I was even getting salvaged at all. Like, I didn't know this was happening yet.
Assault frigate stolen.
Support
Yeah, you hear that? That's not what you want to hear.
Assault frigate heavily damaged. Requesting backup.
And so now he can just kind of, you know, pop out my units. Salvaging is really deadly in Homeworld Classic. You know, like, rather than killing your units, you take it, now you have an extra one. We got nothing like this in DOK, which is, in a lot of ways, I think actually good, because it turns out to be pretty oppressive in Homeworld Classic, but it's so cool, though, so... Yeah, so, up he goes. And there's so many salvage corvettes here now, they can just grab all of these frigates, so I'm not really going to be able to keep any of them away from the salvage corvettes because of this defense field frigate here. He's doing a good enough job of holding off the fire from all of my units that I'm not really going to be able to kill any of these salvage corvettes here. You can see I've got a defense field frigate of my own, which is making it very difficult for my opponent to kill my units, but if I can't kill his, he definitely has the advantage here because of the salvage corvettes, right?
Frigate.
And mine are definitely in the wrong position. You can see them chilling out over here. One thing I was hoping for was that he would come over here with his resource collectors and I could steal some of them, but he never ended up doing that. So he's going to grab the field frigate. Once the defense field is down, that's obviously curtains for me. He's going to steal another assault frigate.
We need a call here.
And you know, at this point, it's basically game over. There's really nothing I can do at this point. He mentioned after the game that he felt like something was wrong here. These guys just kind of stayed here and like wouldn't capture the units, but I think probably what was happening was that the queue was like full. There were people coming out of here and going in, so like they couldn't handle the request at the moment. Salvaging can be kind of slow that way sometimes. Yeah, this is how you know it's desperation times, when you have support frigates attacking salvage corvettes.
Super capital ship.
They're not really meant for that, although as you can see they're killing it kind of surprisingly quickly.
For construction.
But yeah, that freeze right there tells us that, oh wow, look at those graphics. Beautiful, am I right? Anyway, that freeze right there tells you that one player's left the game. That was me, I left the game. Because at this point I knew it was over. Well played to Gazerlake then, and I think what I learned from this one is really that you just have to get, like you don't have to take a fight necessarily. I already mined out most of the middle, so I could have just left everyone and kind of been fine there, and then his mothership would be sitting there like, what am I doing here, you know, in the middle where there's like no resources. So I think this game definitely could have gone my way. I think I just kind of made some pretty fundamental mistakes in it. But it was a fun one, and it was well played to Gazerlake, so that's the first game of the tournament. And I know it's Tuesday right now, but actually by some metrics it's Monday night, which means we're on schedule, technically. Haha, so I'm posting in the Discord under the Homeworld Classic in the tournament chat sections what map is to be played on which round. So go ahead and start playing your games, send the replays to me, I will cast them all, etc., etc. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.